Intelligent spontaneity. Any wine will get you high. Judge like a king, and choose the purest, the ones unadulterated with fear, of some urgency about what's needed. Drink the wine that moves you, as a camel moves when it's untied and is just ambling about. From a poem by Rumi. I've spoken before about how the listening attention is the gateway to within. This can be also spoken of as the link between the real and the unreal, the manifest and the unmanifest. The Christian mystics refer to the Son, who is the link to the Father. William Samuel speaks of the child as the pathfinder, and tells us it is essential to actually get in touch with this child of light. These refer to an essential part of us, a part that is free from the world, yet sees the world, and can lead us back to our home in the Father. What is this child, this intuitive light, this innocence somehow imbibed with wisdom? One thing it is not is childishness. It is not needy and wanting its own way, nor dependent on the things of this world for its satisfaction or existence. In fact, the child is much better described by what it is not than what it is. Jesus once remarked that we should become as innocent as doves, but also as wise as serpents. We do not use the child for the further purposes of the ego, but become it. The listening attention is not the problem-solving or even the categorizing mind, but that which simply sees or listens and can link to a higher intelligence. Many of our problems are better solved by asking for an answer from within, then practicing patience until the answer appears. The saying, "I'll sleep on it," refers to this in a simple way. We ask, then wait until we receive. Maurice Nicoll speaks of the puer aeternus, Latin for eternal boy or child. He calls this the intermediary, the one who connects us with the higher centers within. He refers to our organism as composed of different centers or minds, each having its own purpose. These centers are divided into higher and lower, the lower being what we are ordinarily aware of as mind. The higher centers are said to be constantly trying to reach us, but cannot get through due to the wrong working of the lower ones. This is likened to static, negative, unnatural patterns taking up most of the energy of these centers, so that they can no longer hear the higher ones. There is too much interference. Nicoll tells us that the object of the work is to cleanse our lower centers, to clear them out, to open their windows, so that they can begin to transmit these ideas and directions coming from higher centers. We cannot hear the child who hears the Father, for the mind has become lost in the static of the world, outward turned and saturated with useless worry and dreams, broadcasting its static miasma so nothing else can get through. This brings us to the first step to the listening attention, the clearing out of this static. Much like a radio that must be tuned in order to pick up the desired station, we must tune our machine, our lower centers, in order to pick up the constant but unheard signal of our higher self. As Rumi says, we have become obsessed with what's needed, and have thus lost our innocence. We can no longer sit in silence and listen to what may be speaking to us, a still small voice from within. Samuel also speaks of the value of trauma or suffering in weeding out the ego's insistence that it is the only source. For most of us, it takes a shock to turn within, to become aware that there is something higher than ourselves, permits the child to come forth, for we begin to listen in another direction, with other ears. We come to see that there is another source of wisdom, other than that of memory or the brain. We learn what intuition is and how it works. This clearing out of the old man gives room for the new, the child. A new kind of intelligence becomes possible, one that is spontaneous yet wise. We use our attention to not only view the world and its problems, but to also turn back within and connect with our own innate intelligence. This double-pointed arrow of attention lends a certain realness. We are no longer lost in the world, for now we have become superior to it, not just in word, but in fact. The ego is seen for what it is through the eyes of the child, and is no longer our identity or sole reference. Peace blossoms from within. The child is born, and the father now sees his world through the child.